2 baskets and 2 burners is genius, until it's not. I ran 7 real-world tests on the dual zone, from browning to cook time to energy use, and I was shocked by the results. In this Ninja Foodi dual zone review, you'll see where it delivers and where it falls short. By the end, you'll know if it's worth the $200 or if you should skip it entirely. But first, what makes the Ninja Foodi dual zone so special? The biggest draw is the 2 baskets. In the machine, there are 2 sets of burners, 1 burner for each side. This lets you cook 2 different meals with 2 different temperatures. Seems genius, but the more I played with it, the more I realized maybe it's not as good as a single basket air fryer. But before I get to that, let's check on the parts. The Ninja Foodi dual zone comes with 2 crisper trays, 15 chef-inspired recipes, and some cooking charts. The exterior shell is plastic, and the inside of the air fryer is 100% plastic, which is kind of concerning to me. The dual baskets are coated with a Teflon non-stick. Ninja also says that these are dishwasher safe. This air fryer is about 18 pounds, so it's a bit harder to move around than a normal sized air fryer, and in case you couldn't tell, this thing is massive. It takes up a lot of counter space. Each basket is 4 quarts each. The Ninja controls are pretty simple though. On the front are time and temperature controls. There's 6 presets: max crisp or air broil, air fry, roast, reheat, dehydrate, and bake. For most things, I just use air fry, and for frozen foods, max crisp. Each zone has its own independent time and temperature settings that you can adjust. If you want to adjust zone 1, you just hit zone 1. If you want to do zone 2, you push zone 2. There's a button for smart finish or sync, and another one for match cook or match. Smart finish or sync makes both the baskets finish cooking at the same time. If zone 1 has a cook time of 10 minutes and zone 2 has 15 minutes, zone 1 will cook for 5, and then zone 2 will kick in after, so they finish at the same time. You use this when you want to cook 2 different meals at once. That way, one of your baskets doesn't go cold waiting for the other to cook. The match button keeps the time and temperature the same. If you change zone 1 time and temperature, zone 2 will copy it, and vice versa. You use this when you want to cook the same meal with both baskets. That way you don't have to re-enter the same settings twice. The Ninja Foodi dual zone doesn't require preheating, which means it's faster than a traditional oven. And if you're thinking about buying this air fryer, I'll keep the links in the description updated with the best discount on the internet. Using these links saves you money and it helps support the channel, so thank you. Now, let me give you a quick demo. In this bowl, I've got French fries chopped up and coated with a teaspoon of olive oil. In the other, I've got a set of vegetables ready to roast. Let's turn on the machine. I'll press zone 1 and use the air fry preset. For fries, I used 410 degrees Fahrenheit or 210 degrees Celsius for 12 minutes. Now I'll press zone 2 and use the roast preset. And I put 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Then I'm gonna press the sync button so that both of these finish cooking at the same time. Okay, so we're about halfway through cooking. Let's shake these to avoid any cold pockets and make sure the food cooks evenly. Here's what we got. And I overcooked the veggies. 100% my fault. I forgot to check on the second basket because I was just so used to working with one. The fries came out okay. They weren't as crispy as the other air fryers I've used, and I had to keep adding time to them. I'm happy with how they turned out, but it took 19 minutes total just to get the same slight browning, and I didn't even stuff the basket. And now let me show you 2 things that make the Ninja Foodi dual zone worth the investment. Most air fryers can only cook one thing at a time, so you're stuck cooking in shifts. If you're making something like chicken or fries, one can get cold by the time the other one's done. But the Ninja Foodi dual zone, you can cook with both at once. You can set up chicken in one basket at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and fries in the other at 375. The smart finish or sync feature makes both of the baskets finish at the exact same time, so everything hits the table hot and ready instead of cold. I like the innovation here, and I just wish the execution was better, which we'll get to. Now, many air fryers have confusing menus with a million buttons that make you feel like you need a degree to operate them. But the controls on this thing are dead simple and easy to understand. There are 6 different cook modes that cover pretty much everything you'd want to make. It's pretty simple. You just pick a mode, you just set the time and temperature, and check on the food as you go and adjust the time. And now let me show you 3 things every person needs to consider before buying the Ninja Foodi dual zone. If you ignore these, you might wind up making a $200 mistake. The Ninja Foodi dual zone uses a Teflon non-stick coating, which makes it easy to clean, but only if you don't scratch it. Once it's scratched, it can leach chemicals into your food called PFAS, and these can build up in the body over time and cause things like cancer and hormone disruption. It's also dishwasher safe, but I wouldn't bother because the dishwasher can actually make this coating chip off easier. Even the manual says to extend the life of the drawers, we recommend hand washing. If you take good care of it, wash it by hand, and don't scratch it, then it's likely safe, but the coating feels super delicate. I read a bunch of reviews saying the same thing. I mean, my basket already has chips at the bottom just from moving it across my counter. And because you have 2 baskets and 2 crisper trays, that means you have twice as much to clean. Now, for such a massive machine, you'd think it'd have a huge capacity. The 4-quart baskets are narrow and deep, but the actual cooking surface on the bottom is pretty small. If you have a family, you might need to use both baskets for the same food just to make enough for everyone. That kind of defeats the purpose of being able to cook 2 different meals at once. And the more you stuff it, the more you have to shake it because hot air can't circulate. Even Ninja knows this, which is why they sell stainless steel rack accessories to fix it. So unless you buy these racks or constantly shake the basket, loading it up is going to lead to uneven cooking, and you're probably going to cook the same food in each basket just to make enough food for everyone in your family. Now, let me ask you something. The whole point of the dual zone is to cook 2 different things at once to save you time, right? Well, turns out when you use both burners, something odd happens. Here's what I mean. When using 2 baskets, my french fries took 19 minutes to get crispy, but when I only used 1 basket, it took 14 minutes to get the same result. Using both baskets actually takes longer to cook the food, and I wasn't the only one who experienced this. My guess is that it splits the cooking power between the 2 different burners so that they aren't as powerful as just one. So instead of saving time, you might end up losing more when you cook 2 things at one time. Okay, so if this thing has all these problems, then why is it an Amazon choice? Either I'm missing something or a lot of people are getting fooled. So I spent $2,417 and 41 hours testing against 8 other air fryers to find out. I ran tests on evenness, crispiness, cooking speed, noise, and energy costs. And when you see how the Ninja stacks up against the competition, you'll understand why I'm so skeptical around the hype. Now, nobody wants food that's crispy on the top but undercooked on the bottom. So to test evenness, I had slices of white bread and ran them for about 4 minutes at 375 Fahrenheit, and I didn't do any flipping. Here's what happened. I couldn't even toast the bread. The air fryer just kept sucking it up into the burner, as you can see on the burnt edges. So I used potato slices to weigh it down. The top didn't toast very evenly. The bottom wasn't even toasted at all. If you want better evenness on both sides, this proves you have to flip or shake the basket more with this air fryer. Crispy food is the main reason people buy air fryers, because if it can't deliver a good crunch, what's the point? So I cooked the same 4 foods across every single air fryer. It was wings, asparagus, salmon, and pizza. I gave each a thin coat of olive oil and used about the same time and temperature settings across each machine. Here's what we got for wings. And you can see the orange marks, that's the crust. It looks pretty good on these. Here's the asparagus. These came out fairly crispy towards the ends. Next up, salmon. There was decent crust on the edges and the ends of the salmon. The middle parts look okay. The center was juicy and perfectly cooked up. Here are the results for pizza. I was actually impressed with these pan pizzas, but it was a pain to cut out the dough to fit the basket. I cooked the dough first for about 5 minutes on each side, then I added the toppings and let it cook for another 4 minutes. Overall, the crust was crunchy and the toppings were cooked perfectly. As far as crispiness, it looks pretty good. Now, air fryer brands like to brag about the cooking speed, but how fast do they actually cook and which ones cook faster without burning the food? To find out, I used a 130 gram meatball and tracked both the internal and external temperature with a digital thermometer. A meatball fully cooks when it reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature. And I used the same time and temp with all the air fryers I tested. The Ninja hit 375 degrees Fahrenheit, close to 6 minutes, and the meatball reached 160 degrees Fahrenheit and finished cooking at about 16 minutes. If you're not sure if that's fast, don't worry, we'll see how it stacks up against the other air fryers at the end. If your air fryer sounds like a jet engine, most people are gonna get annoyed, especially in a small apartment with kids or roommates. So I placed a decibel meter next to the air fryer while I was running on full blast, just to see how loud it gets. It averaged around 63 decibels, which is quieter than a blender, but slightly louder than a microwave. It's not silent, but it's not obnoxious either. You can still hold a conversation or not wake anyone up while it's running. Now, energy costs aren't a big deal, but you'd be surprised how quickly they can add up. An air fryer that hogs as much power as an oven can cost hundreds of dollars, so I plugged in a power monitor and ran the air fryer for 20 minutes. We got 0.401 kilowatt hours. If you use it daily for 1 hour for 4 years, that's about $298 in electricity. Over the same time period with an oven, that would cost you about $621. The Ninja wasn't as efficient as the other models I've tested, but it saves around $323 versus an oven. Here's the final scorecard. Believe me, I really wanted to love this air fryer, but between the Teflon basket easily scratching, the all plastic interior probably leaching microplastics, and the longer cook times, I wouldn't recommend this to my mom or friend. Instead, I'd watch this video to see which of the 9 air fryers I've tested are actually worth putting your $200 towards.